Hello to you all lovely people, welcome back to my channel. This is What's Cooking Baking and my name is Win Palmer. Today we'll be making some absolutely delicious palm nut soup. This soup, you can eat it with almost everything and it's really nutritious. So our work has been made easier for us because I'm using the palm nut base today. This is a paste that has already been extracted from the palm nuts, and hence it makes the cooking process relatively easier and less messy as compared to the original method where you'd have to pound your nuts, strain it, and by the time you're done doing that, all of your bowls will end up being stained with the oil from the nuts. And in my opinion, I think they all taste just as good, so you'll have to pick the one that works best for you. Okay friends, let's get cooking. So I'm adding my goat meat and beef tripe to my saucepan, and now I'm just going to chop up some onions and ginger and everything else I would need to spice up my meat and get this cooking process started. Now that that's done, I'm going to add 2 habanero peppers, some garlic, anise seed and cloves, some coriander and black peppercorns, and 2 grains of Selim, otherwise known as hwentia. I'll blend that into a smooth paste, and then I'm going to add it to my beef tripe and goat meat. I'll also give my blender a rinse and add all of this goodness into the meat because I don't want to waste anything. And to that, I'm going to add 2 bay leaves and some onga seasoning cube. Onga, mama's helping hand. Guys, just ignore me, I'm messing around and reliving some good memories. And now I'll go in with a teaspoon and a half of salt, just for starters. Later on I'll taste for salt, and if it's not enough I can still go in with some more. I'm going to give that a good mix, and that's going to go onto the stove and get cooking. This is the palm soup base I will be using for my recipe today. The good thing about this is it has been infused with prekese and abedro, which are 2 things I can't easily find where I am. So it makes me very happy because these 2 things really up the flavor of your palm nut soup. So I poured that palm nut soup base into a big bowl, and then I rinsed its container with hot water. This is to help me to be able to wash out all of that good paste out of there, and I give that a stir. One thing I do is I let that sit for a while before I pour it into my saucepan, and this is the reason why. You see all that residue? I don't want that in the soup, so that is why I mix that with hot water, stir it and let it sit for a while before I go ahead to cook this. So to that base, which has now been lightened up with all that water, I'm going to add tomatoes and onions. I'm going to transfer that onto my stove and let it cook. Now let's check on this meat. It's been cooking for a while now. It's almost done, so I'm just going to go ahead and add some crabs to that, and my smoked catfish as well as smoked mackerel. These ones don't take so much time to cook, so that's why I waited till just about the very end before I add them. It's just been about 10 minutes now, and the crabs have cooked nicely. The fish has also absorbed that nice flavor from the beef tripe and the goat meat, so I'm going to take those out and put them aside because they are very fragile and you don't want them to cook in there for too long. I'm going to let my meat cook for just about 5 more minutes, and then I'll get that off the stove. The tomatoes and onions have cooked up well at this point, so I'm going to transfer them into my blender and blend them until they are very smooth. And the reason why I use a toothpick here is to hold the onions together so that I don't have to search for every piece of it before I blend it. I forgot to hit record to show you how smooth I blended my tomatoes and onions, but I made sure I blended it for a while to get it to be very smooth. And right after that I go in with my meat and all of its broth. This is going to bring a lot of flavor to the soup. Now I'm going to cover that up and let it cook for between 20 and 30 minutes. After 20 minutes, I go in with some okra and some pepper for anyone who wants that extra heat and that okra feel. And then I add my fish and crabs. I tasted for salt and noticed I needed just a little bit more, so I go in with 2 teaspoons, and that did the trick. I'll then give that a stir and let it cook for just about 50 more minutes, and we'll have our soup ready for us. And there we have it. This palm nut soup is ready to be eaten. It tastes good, it smells good. Like, you can't even tell the difference between this and the original one that you pound and go through the whole stress of making. So today we are going to be having this palm nut soup with some neat fufu that I made whilst I was waiting for my soup to get ready. You are all invited to join us for our weekend special fufu with palm nut soup. But if you can't join us, I would urge you to try making your own palm nut soup using this recipe, and your family is going to enjoy it, your friends are going to enjoy it, and you would have a very wonderful weekend. Thank you all so much for joining me once again to make this delicious meal. I hope you all try this recipe and I hope you like it. See you soon in the next video. Take care, everyone.